Greetings everyone, and thank you for joining in. Today's topic is Aeolian Mode and constructing its modal chord progression. Aeolian Mode is the sixth mode of the major scale. Its formula is root, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and root. There's two reasons why you want to know the formula. Number one is to construct the mode, and number two, for your improvising and compositions. So let's talk about how to build the mode. Let's take the formula for Ionian mode, or the major scale, and it's simply root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and root. So we can see that the differences are in the third, sixth, and seventh degrees of the scale, or scale tones. So all we'd have to do is just take the 3, the 6, and the 7 and lower those scale tones 1 fret or 1 semitone, and we would transform Ionian into Aeolian. Okay, so one of the questions that comes up is, where does the formula for the mode come from? Where does the flat 3, the flat 6, and the flat 7 come from? So I'll try to explain that here. If we take the notes in, let's say, C Ionian, we get C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. The notes in C Aeolian are C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and C. So what we're doing right now is we're comparing the two modes together in parallel. That's where both root notes are the same. So we're comparing C Aeolian to C Ionian. And by the way, I forgot to mention, another name for Aeolian is the natural minor scale. So C natural minor or C Aeolian are the same thing. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to compare the notes in C Aeolian to C Ionian, and let's see what happens here. So the root notes look good, the twos look good, but we've got a difference in the third degree of the scale. So in the key of C major, we've got E, which is a major third, but in Aeolian we've got an E flat, which is a minor third, and that's where we get the flat 3 from. F's are the same for the 4s, G's are the same for the 5s. In C major, we've got an A, which is the major 6th, but in Aeolian, we've got an A flat, which is a minor 6 or flat 6. And we've got a B for the major 7, and in Aeolian, we've got a B flat for the minor 7, so that's where the flat 7 comes from. And then we're back to a root. So the formula comes from doing a parallel comparison of Aeolian to the major scale. Okay. Let's talk about the second scenario, which is improvising and composing. When you're improvising or composing for Aeolian mode, you want to bring out that flat 6. So there's only one other minor mode in the major scale that has a flat 6, and it's Phrygian mode. Locrian doesn't count because it's a diminished mode. So you want to bring out that flat 6 a lot. Flat 3 is kind of cool. Flat 7 is cool. But also, you know what? I like bringing out the major second as well. You know, it's another note that maybe sets you apart from pentatonic or blues scales. Roots are always going to work. 5 is always going to work. But in priority sequence, I like the flat 6. I like the flat 3. I like the flat 7. And so you can just do some really cool experimentation with that. So that's it. Let's talk about building the modal chord progression. So step number 1 is to determine what the parent major scale is. So the parent major scale for C Aeolian is E flat major. And the notes are E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and E flat. So it's important that you get the key signature correct. In other words, the correct flats in this case, because that's going to allow you to get the chords right for step number 2. So step number 2 is to determine what the 1, 4, and 5 chords are. So it's going to be E flat, A flat, and B flat. And all 3 of those chords are major. The third step is to take the root note of the mode that you're constructing, the mode that you want, which is C, and we want to put it in the bass of the 3 chords, of the 1, 4, and 5 chords. So we're going to get E flat with C in the bass, A flat with C in the bass, and B flat with C in the bass. And these are referred to as slash chords. The letter on the top left is your triad, and the letter on the bottom right is your bass note. And it's really easy to visualize this on a keyboard. Just think of it as the right hand is playing an E flat triad, which is the notes E flat, G, and B flat, while the left hand would be playing C in the bass. What I really like about slash chords is they are an easy way to create a more complex chord. So if we were to name all 3 of these chords with a C bass note or C root note, for the first chord we'd have C minor 7, which is pretty straight ahead. For the next chord, we're going to have C minor sharp 5, or inharmonically a flat 6. And for the last chord, we've got C dominant 9, sus 4. So for the modal chord progression, I'm going to stick to just the 4 and the 5 chords. You don't always have to include the 3 chords, so you can do a little bit of experimentation and just see what you like. But I always, bare minimum, like to use the 4 and the 5 chords. So our chord progression for Aeolian mode, we're going to go with A flat over C for 1 measure, and then B flat with C in the bass for the next measure. And here's the chords. So I'm going to actually change this first chord up a little bit. So instead of putting the root note here traditionally, I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to put the note in at fret number 3 on the G string, which is going to be the flat 7. And so what we have here is a really, really great one-size-fits-all Aeolian chord. So the voicing on this is root flat 6, which is the inharmonic equivalent to a sharp 5. We've got a flat 7. That was the note that we replaced on the G string. We just took out the root note, went down a whole step to the flat 7, and that's where we got it from. We've got the flat 3 on the B string and the 5, the 5th on the high E string. So what's awesome about this chord, it's like one chord that totally defines Aeolian mode. It's got all the ingredients right in it, the flat 3, the flat 6, and the flat 7. And this is something that I try to do sometimes when I'm composing, is just have one chord that defines the mode that I'm trying to create. And then I can kind of put the emphasis on maybe a bass line or other parts. So you don't always have to have, 2 chords or 5 chords. Sometimes it's actually more of a challenge to try to create the tonality of a mode by just using one chord, and this chord trumps all. It's fantastic. So fingering here is going to be 1, 4, 1, 2, 1. And over to this guy here, B flat with C in the bass. We can just bar that first finger from the A string right through to the high E string. Nice big fat bar on that with the index finger. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And let's take a listen as to how this bad boy sounds. Okay, so when you're learning modes, it's important that you try to find other examples of songs that use that mode. This is called association, and it's an amazing way to work with the ear training in music. So some songs that come to mind for Aeolian mode, I've written one called Venus Rain. You've got Stairway to Heaven, Within by Daft Punk, Layla, Sultans of Swing, Hotel California, the verse section, Comfortably Numb, the verse section, and that killer outro solo. All Along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix, Crazy Train, The Trooper by the mighty Iron Maiden, Rockin' in the Free World, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Little Wing, and Ain't Talking About Love by the mighty Van Halen. And there's like a billion others. Learn these songs as well. They're just great songs. The big thing to look for too with Aeolian mode is like that one minor, the one minor to the flat 7 major to the flat 6 major progression. So in the key of C, that would be, here's your C minor down to B flat major, A flat major, back up to B flat major. So you get that kind of. And that's without a doubt the most popular minor progression. There's been more songs written using that chord progression than all other minor progressions combined. It's the equivalent of the 1-4-5, but for minor. So definitely super cool. So I guess, folks, that's it for today. Hopefully you've learned a few things. Message me if you have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.